and we basically check with what it is. So let me just start my recording to the cloud. Everybody get their cameras on. It's recording. I'm going to try to do YouTube, live on YouTube. Let's see if that works. I'm going to do it as training. I'm going to go live. Pairing to live stream. Zoom to YouTube. Okay, looks good. Perfect. Okay. So, this looks good. Third party, get set. Okay, we're ready to go. I think we're getting everybody on board. And we're ready to rumble. Okay, and Sasha, I don't see your face. Good, perfect. All right, and Jake the same. And Dominique, when he comes back, I guess he'll be set up well. Okay, Daniel, you're set. You found everything all right. Everything is perfect.
Yes.
All right, praise the Lord, as we say.
Absolutely.
Whatever Lord there is. Okay, in anyone's part. Okay, so welcome everyone. Good to see you all in happy spirits. So, as I said before, I'm excited about the next part of this semester where we're going to be focusing in on our projects. So, I sent out a note, and also Daniel did as well, that I'd like to see everybody do kind of like a short presentation today, a couple of minutes, or what are your projects, and I'll try to even approve it on the spot. Also, what I like about it is we all can see what people are proposing to do. So I'll get to that, and that way, as I mentioned before, you may want to, it's all right if you're doing the same area, for instance, of real estate, or in terms of education, in terms of training, in terms of tutoring, helping people with different conversational models. We'll discuss that, and I'll help you focus in on your project. As I mentioned before, what the goal of this next project is to get everyone in this group to be proficient and an expert on some of these new Gen AI apps and get into more detail and depth, and that you could offer this as a service to certain communities. And you can take this away, and we'll be doing, one of our things is we'll be using Wix as our development website, as our foundation, but of course this project is going to be more than just creating a website, but getting into different areas. And this is the fun part. And whatever apps that you've stated right now, I see that as just the beginning, because we haven't done enough research and everything is changing. You remember I talked about Notebook LM last time, right? And what I found out, I tried it again yesterday, and I was feeding in YouTube URLs, and all of a sudden it wasn't accepting it. I don't know if they're being inundated, Google, with its popularity, that all of a sudden they said we can't handle any longer YouTube, just the URLs. So maybe what you need to do is just take the transcript from your YouTubes and then just feed it in. But everything is changing so quickly, which is exciting as well, but it's also people need help. Everyone does. So that's the greatest part of it. Okay, so this is an overview, so I need moderators. Are there any volunteers for class participation to be a moderator today? you have any volunteers? Who will?
Oh, I will.
Okay, good. Sasha, and who else? Dylan, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, yeah, I can do it.
Perfect. You're great on that. So moderate and let me know what's happening. I'm going to do as I usually do, give you some housekeeping, talk about some things, talk about the exam. We had one exam. We'll talk about the second exam. There were a couple of people that were not here last time. Sebastian, I know, and others. So you may want to now. Sebastian, are you in a group? If you put yourself in a group, Sebastian.
Yeah, I put myself in the group.
Okay, so you're set with your group. Any other issues we'll discuss later. Anything that you need to, I'll see me after class when I shut down the recordings and we can speak personally on different areas that we have. Okay, so let me share my screen. And anything else, and Daniel, please feel free to let me know if I'm missing some things. We'll talk about, right now we'll do our housekeeping chores, as I say. I'm going to open up my part here. I know that we're recording, that's perfect. And now I
The
can...
book seems to accept YouTube now.
It does, okay. So it's funny, huh? So it may have been just overwhelmed, you know? So that's what we need to check each time. I appreciate that, yeah. So did you try it out, Daniel? What did you link to it?
An OpenAI O1 introduction video. I want
Great.
to see what they'll say about that.
And how was it?
Very good. I'll show you after.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's amazing though, isn't it?
It's very cool.
It's so cool, and just think that's just the beginning.
Yeah.
And this is in test mode. They're going to do a business version. I signed up for that as well. The business version, they're going to do like a business plan for people that have, the Google Workspace, which all of you have now, part of the university. So you think that there'll be even more things coming, and just think about all the competitors, right? They're not just going to be sitting there, ChatGPT and Copilot and the others. They're not going to be no one's sitting on their laurels. Okay, so a couple of things here. Let's see, on the what's due section. Let's just check that. Okay, so today is Wednesday the 23rd. Amazing, isn't it? That next week is the 30th. So let's just do for today's class. Let me just let you know that today we're going to be looking at part one of your final project of your proposals, and we'll talk about that. We have the tech guide of cloud computing that we've talked about before, right, of all the cloud computing, even our Azure, our VDI, which some of you discussed on your test, the virtual desktop, right? We'll be doing it of the readings, the assignments, the quizzes that are due, and then these are the readings. I changed some of these readings, Daniel. There was a little mistake there. So one is Cloud Computing by AWS. Look at it. The other one is What is Cloud Computing? And now even the notebook LM, which this conversation now not only listens to a conversation about your resources, as I talked about before, but now under this netbook guide, you can customize it. So, for instance, Daniel, when you hear that podcast, you can then say customize and say, let's focus on this part of my sources, not on others. Just like you are adjusting ChatGPT or any of the other conversational parts, you can now customize your notebook guide. And I spoke yesterday, you guys may remember the security director of University of Miami, and he was so excited about it, he was using it to discuss, put in links about himself, and then he's now putting it in to Spotify. So he's trying to be a corporate director, and he thinks that this will promote him in terms of a corporate director. So it's even, he's not even bragging about himself. It sounds like it's objective, right, Daniel? Like the podcast is basically promoting him. So these are interesting things that I just wanted you to see. I want each group, once we decide on our website and all, and we're further down the road, I want each group to use this notebook LM and modify and put the link into your website as well in the version. So this is one. Let me just go back to, we had that. We also have, in this case, let me open it up in a new tab. This is one of the cloud computing. Being informed on that is AWS. AWS, in this case, Sebastian, is whom? What is the company? Sebastian.
Is it Amazon?
It's Amazon. What is the most profitable sector in Amazon? Is AWS. You think everybody gets Amazon packages, right? Sebastian, have you ever gotten an Amazon package? Of course, we all do. And it's so easy and to get, to return, right? My door is filled with Amazon packages. But what is really profitable for them is AWS. And that stands for Amazon Web Services. So if I asked in Sasha in the open-ended questions talk about the most popular vendors, this would be one of them, of Amazon services. And what I like about this is they go into what is cloud computing. So I would even basically do this. Later on, you could even create then an LM, right, of a notebook LM and put this in as one of your links. But what is cloud computing is on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. So that's the idea, similar to electricity. Dylan, did you have a question?
Yeah, we got a question in the chat. Luke was asking if we're going to go over the exam today.
Yes, we are. For sure. And the way I'm going to go over the exam, Luke, and you tell me, is I'm going to go over the curve. Is that what you want, Luke?
Yes.
Perfect. I'll go over it. Remind me, after I just do this, we'll go over it, right? Because that's important for everybody, isn't it? We got all these numbers, and what do they mean? But for sure. And thank you, Dylan, for letting me know. So what is cloud computing? The on-demand delivery of IT over the internet and pay-as-you-go. What does that mean? Luke, what does pay-as-you-go mean?
As you go through the process?
Basically go through the resources. How much resources you do, we pay. So let's think about it. We want to do Ninja Trader, right? We don't have Windows machine, right? And we want to have fast processors, right, Luke? How maybe we only want to use it for 1 month. Why should I buy a new computer services, right? Buy an operating system and have fast computation, have large CPUs, maybe even a GPU and an MPU. We'll pay for what we need for a month. That's what they call cloud computing. It's on demand, how we as a company have on demand. Now, all of these things that you can think about is who's using it. Organizations, basically, you can think about, Luke, from the very smallest. Let's say me and you go into business, and let's say we are going to be doing some internet language models, Luke. What do we say? Do we want to buy large computers with a lot of memory and a hard drive that will be basically software, have computing time? We can start off with Amazon services because what? We pay as we go. and it's on demand. And you basically maintain physical data centers and service. You can access technology service such as computing power. One of the things about AI, Luke, is what? It requires huge amounts of power, right? To do all those chat GPTs and all that. Think about it. Storage. Remember external storage? We're going to have to pay for that. Databases. Did we talk about database? We're going to need large database on as a needed basis for cloud provider. One of those cloud providers is Amazon Web Services. This is great. Who uses cloud computing? Right? Any organization. What's the benefits? Sasha, doesn't this sound like a possible question for the open-ended exam? What are cloud computing? What are the benefits of being agile? What's the idea of agile? That I can move as I go. All of a sudden I say, you know what? I see a real great demand for wealth managers doing financial aid. Or I see a great demand for educating the public or how students on how to study for exams, creating multiple choice on our own. So I can be agile. Elasticity. So in this case, Dylan, what's elasticity mean? It says with cloud computing, you don't have to over-provision resources up front to handle peak levels of business activity. What does elasticity mean? That it's going to what? Scale as we grow. So in the beginning, Dylan, we have no customers, then we have 100, then we have 1,000, then we have 100,000, 1,000,000. I can grow. Every time we're growing, Dylan, what happens? I'd say, Dylan, gee, we got to buy new computers. Dylan, we got to buy more storage space. Dylan, we got to buy more. And then you say, Dr. Rush, you know, we're going to deliver it. Who's going to install it? Who's going to take care of it? One of the advantages is elasticity, meaning you can scale your resources up and down. And then guess what? All of a sudden, we may be really busy during Christmas time. And in January, we're slower, so we can reduce our resources. That's elasticity. The other one is cost. That this way I can share with all the data centers with the cloud. I can deploy it pretty easily, and the types of cloud computing, there's infrastructure as a service. What does that mean, Dylan? It means that I can use their dedicated hardware. All the infrastructure, let them take care of it. Platform as a service means, you can put this in your notes, guys. Platform as a service really means like the operating system. Dylan, you remember what operating system needed to work on Ninja Trader? Dylan?
I'm not sure.
Why did we use VDI? Do you have a Mac? Dylan?
Yeah, I do.
Right. Did Windows work on a Mac operating system? No, right? You remember it worked on Windows. And you say to yourself, I don't want to have all our machines do parallel and install also Windows. I don't want to buy, Dylan, another computer with Windows. So what is this? Platform as a service. You tell these cloud computing companies, guess what? I want Windows operating systems. That's platform as a service. And what is it? I want it maybe 1 month every semester. Software as a service. So basically, I don't want to buy the software, have the software installed somewhere else and have them maintain it. So that's software as a service. Just like Microsoft Web Services, like Microsoft, they're operating via the internet. How do I get there? I need to have an internet connection. So you can see that, and what's nice, you can look at all of these before in their documentations, but look at their solutions. Look at that. Build with powerful services and platforms. All the AI companies now are using, for the most part, cloud services. Backup and restore, if you're into blockchain, cloud, content delivery, databases. And you can see this. And also, if you look at it, it's done by industry. It's done by organization. It's done by products. And if you look at the products, you can see. So they have even, you can be certified, like on Amazon Web Services, Cloud. Microsoft has another one. So this is the area. Both of these links I want you to go over as preparing you to understand it. Plus, great idea. Look at this. Would you like, no. What is cloud computing? What are the benefits? What are the cloud deployment types? What are the cloud computing models? Sasha, right? Great questions. You have it right there. Azure is the name of Microsoft's cloud computing company. And remember, we were using Azure when we were doing our Ninja Trader. When we were doing our automated systems, we were doing that, and this is a beginner's guide. So this exact same thing, look at that. Cost, performance, speed, productivity, reliability, the types. We can have a public cloud, meaning that everybody can get through the internet. The difference is I have passwords to it, but there could be a number of people sharing the same computer. Here in the private cloud, it is my own organization. Who uses it? Like the Department of Defense. Even though there's leaks all the time, you hear that on the Pentagon and so forth, they at least want to have a private cloud. And a hybrid cloud is some things that are super important for us that we don't want to have any idea of sharing. It could be hybrid, other ones. And here is the same thing. Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So these are, and the uses, you can see, to stream, to deliver software, create. This is perfect. And Microsoft and cloud computing. Okay. So we got that part that we see for today. So I'd work that out again, that you would have that. So on the what's due section, this was for today plus the assignments. What I'm going to be doing is going over your assignments today. The second part is what's due a week from today, which is Wednesday, which is the assignment is a final project, is our project part 2. There'll be 4 parts to our project. This is the second part. We'll also start reading on artificial intelligence, the adaptive assignments on artificial intelligence, and the Wiley quizzes on artificial intelligence. And we'll have that due for Wednesday. Okay? And then under assignment instructions, we had the part 1 talking about what is assignments, showing in this case creating the group. Everybody's done choosing the theme and your proposals and your apps. One of the things in choosing your apps, this is just the beginning. You're going to have to do a lot more research and go into depth of what apps you will be becoming an expert in and evaluating it to give value, to be almost a thought leader in this area. And the other part is part 2, which is the next part is once I approve it, is setting up your website. First of all, becoming, in this case, our goal is becoming confident with and showcasing generative AI tools that enhance efficiency in specific sectors, include a mission statement, service descriptions, AI-generated logo. You'll do your research and your outcomes. Very nice, Daniel. You see, it's to the point. I like those of bullet points on this, and we can look at that. Let's talk about the tests. Luke, was that your interest? Good. So Luke, we're going to talk about the tests. The tests, I've opened it up. Do you have access to the tests, Luke?
Yes.
Okay, so the tests were in two parts. One was the multiple choice, and the other one was the open-ended. The open-ended part 2 counted 20 points. So if you look at that, for instance, if you got 20, right, that's a 90%. And so that's basically a straight curve. But on the multiple choice, it's curved more, and 40 and above is in the division of an A, 30 and above is in division of a B, and 25 and above is C. So that is basically the tentative, that's the tentative curve. I curve at the end. Each part, I think, is the entire test is 20%, so each part is 10% of your grade. You got it, Luke? Does that help you? Perfect. So in terms of you have any questions about your grades or how that was distributed, you can see me after class. But that's what you wanted, right? That answers your question, Luke, so we can move on to that. Okay? Any other questions that I have? Dylan, is there any other questions on that that I need to address that anybody's put in the chat?
Not right now.
Okay, that's the important thing. That's what everybody wants, right? It's basically, even though I wish that we didn't have like the grading, but that's life, right? So this is what everybody's concerned about, and I understand for sure. The other part is the IT audit area. And you see here we have the final group, final project groups. And notice here, once you do your website, your first website that will be free. So if you go to, let me go to Wix.com. I have already some sites there. So it'll come up of all my sites. You can use this Wix if you want to create a new site. You can have the user, you can bring a template and do it all your own, but you can bring ideas to life with AI. I'd start doing the Wix starting with AI just in order, Dylan. You see this? Just in order to see how they're doing it. So you start with the chat, and then it goes through questions. You know, first tell me about your site. What do you want to do? Write your answer. Help me answer. And you go through it. And then make sure that you can publish this. Right now, you don't have to even put a credit card in. You can start off with as many Wix sites as you want. This is free. Later on, once we contribute with your class, once we set that up, we will then upgrade to their business model where we will get a domain name. And the domain name is going to be important for us to use for SEO. And as I said before, you could even basically be part of your brand in picking up a good domain name. So you can play around with this. This is kind of, they're trying themselves to get into AI. Everybody's trying to capture that AI and seeing how it works. Do you have to edit? Of course you do. So you just don't want to accept something as part of the AI just as you are, but it really just starts getting you started rather than starting from scratch. So that is your Wix. And then if I go back here, I can see then this was what Daniel had done Let's see if it's working. You know, if it, Daniel, would be interesting is taking that notebook LM and seeing what it will do.
That would be cool.
You know what I mean? Do that for next time, and then add that link to your spreadsheet, to your site. So in this case, this was from last year, helping AI elevate your business. This was created with AI. He has his home, about, and you'll have it, our team. You'll be doing your team, what are your offerings, what are your videos, and you can do it in different formats, and then you'll have social media as well, but you can set this up and you can see a lot of this is generated. And when you do an image that's generated, what I like is image generated with, and in this case he sets his as open with AI. So this is where we are now. So what I'd like you,
Professor?
yes.
So I have a question. Sorry,
Yeah.
I had my hand up, but
Okay.
about the grading. So when you say it's, for instance, like 30 or above, you say it consists
30
of
to 30 to, let's say, 39.
Yeah. But I mean, like, what does consists of a B mean? Like
That's a B grade.
like an 8. What is that? An 87?
I don't know what it is, but anybody that got between, it's current.